are back. We've missed you terribly these last couple of months, but we're here to inspire, inform, and entertain you with stories from Africa about Africans. My name is Belinda.
And I'm Mary. Let's dive right in. An African lady is poised to head the World Trade Organization after a gentleman from South Korea quit. Now, why they quit? I really have no idea, but don't mess with an African mom. Here's the story.
The former Nigerian Finance Minister Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala is now poised to become the leader of the World Trade Organization following the withdrawal of South Korean Trade Minister Yom Young-hae. The withdrawal came after dozens of former U.S. government officials urged President Joe Biden to endorse Okonjo-Iweala after Trump administration blocked her selection in 2020, making the U.S. and Korea the only holdouts favoring Yo. The 66-year-old Nigerian economist, who is also a U.S. citizen, emerged as the frontrunner for the WTO Director General post last year. If the U.S., Korea and the WTO's other 162 members join a consensus to appoint Okonjo-Iweala, the WTO can announce a meeting to confirm her appointment within a matter of days. If confirmed, she will become the first woman and the first African to lead the organization in its 25-year history.
Now, you might remember when DNA in the last season brought you this story, and at the time there were two African ladies in the running, along with other people, of course, but there were two African women. Fast forward, there is only one.
Dr. Okonjo-Iweala is from Nigeria, so we ought to be proud as Africans. You know, she is heading the World Trading Organization, or we hope that she will head the World Trade Organization.
Although one might argue whether she's really African.
Well, I think she identifies with both the Americans and Africans, so it's okay.
Okay,
it's all right. We'll take it.
Yes, absolutely. Now, moving on to Kenya, and on a side note, a U.S. missionary has been jailed for defilement of minors. Take a look at this story.
Elsewhere, an American has been sentenced to more than 15 years in prison after abusing underage girls in an orphanage in Kenya. Gregory Dow, a Christian missionary, set up the orphanage with his wife in 2008. It was partly funded by churches in Lancaster County in the U.S. state of Pennsylvania and was in operation for almost a decade before Dow fled in 2017.
In the ruling, Jennifer Arbiter Williams, the acting United States Attorney for the Eastern District of Pennsylvania, said Gregory Doe of Lancaster County had traveled halfway around the world to prey on incredibly vulnerable victims. The 61-year-old established an orphanage in 2008, which came to be known as the Doe Family's Children's Home. In 2020, he pleaded guilty in the U.S. to 4 counts of engaging in illicit sexual conduct with a minor in a foreign place. He was already a known sex offender before he started the orphanage in Kenya. In 1996, he pleaded guilty to assault with intent to commit sexual abuse, for which he received 2 years probation and was ordered to register as a sex offender for a decade.
Now, this story is very sad. Mr. Gregory Doe left his country as a known sex offender to come all the way to Kenya and set up a mission church for orphans, and then goes ahead to, defile these girls. It's just sad. And to think that he is already known in the States. Right. Why is he moving around? Yet he is a known offender.
Right. The chances that this information is out there, his track record, are very high. So the fact that, for me, this is very layered. I'm thinking, this must be like an NGO bureau. Did they do due diligence? These are people coming in and they're setting up the orphanage. He set it up with his wife.
Yeah.
Did they check up on these individuals? Did they look them up? They obviously didn't. And then it's so upsetting. Our systems are so broken.
It's a bunch of broken systems here in Africa, and with them as well.
Yes, because how did he come in here? And then he's coming here to do work, right? Yeah. And they're issuing visas, and the system didn't catch him as well. So the systems in Africa are flawed. Let's just say the whole world has its issues.
Yes, they're flawed everywhere, and people like this, or people who have been convicted before, should not be let out of their countries. And you know what's sad, Belinda? What hurts me is that this guy was actually being funded by churches in Lancaster.
Churches.
Yeah. not a good example to set, you know. But yeah, regardless, we move. So now, on a happier note, a South African hotel has embraced virus-free robots. Check this out.
Because that database of questions and answers is forever growing, it would seem like the robot's not as smart right now. But with time, as more unanswered questions come in, more staff put in more, hotel-specific questions, it will seem smarter as time goes on. So that's the feedback loop for the learning of the robots for the chat-based systems.
In Johannesburg, 3 robots navigate the corridors of the 453-room upmarket hotel Sky, answering guests' queries and delivering room service orders. Put in place before the pandemic, the hotel has embraced the new technology even more than it had originally intended, as a way to help reduce the risk of the infection by COVID-19 in the country that has recorded nearly 45,000 deaths and recorded more than 1.4 million cases.
In its base form
Hasta la vista, baby.
First, I mean, this is obviously a very innovative idea. Kudos South Africa again, showing Africa who's boss.
Right.
But also, the name is a bit suspect, no? Virus-free robots.
What does that mean? Does that mean they can't,
carry the virus?
Does that mean the body of the robot is not, it deflects viruses? How?
I'm curious about the name, but nonetheless, very great innovation.
Yeah.
In an era where we're trying to minimize contact, it's a hospitality industry, and I am a firm believer in the human touch never being, it cannot be replaced, especially in hospitality. But this is a great innovation for the season. The fact that your food can be delivered to you and you've not met a concierge, no one's touched anything except the robot. I think it's great.
Exactly, but see, with the robot and the robot moving to different rooms, doesn't that still mean that
it's coming into contact?
Exactly. So I'm not sure how they've eliminated this problem. I truthfully have my doubts.
Think about the food coming from the kitchen, coming to the waiter, then to you.
Okay, but in the video, Belinda, it showed the guy opening it, picking his food or bottle. I think it was a bottle out, and he closed it. So does it go back then and sanitize itself? And
also, I guess you can look at the fact that it has to learn from a human being. It learns garbage in, garbage out, right? Yeah. So what you give it is, the more you teach the robot, the more it learns. It makes me a bit anxious, especially given all the movies we've watched about robots taking over.
And how they're going to take over the world, but that comes to say, we're not hating, we're, kudos to South Africa, but
absolutely.
Virus-free robots, the term, I don't know.
We'll figure it out as we go. Now, we've been in the kitchen cooking up some interesting things for you here at DNA. We're pleased to announce that we have a brand new segment called Tell It.
Now, Tell It is a segment where we go in depth and discuss one of the stories of the week. It's very exciting, it's engaging, so please stick around for Tell It.
Hi, this is Tell It, a new segment on DNA, and I'm your host, Hannington. Imagine siblings or twins fell in love, got married, had a baby, but all to find out it was a lie to gain clout on social media. Here's the story.
Recently, a clip of 2 Kenyan twins who fell in love with each other has been circulating online. One of the twins have decided to share their story through a TikTok video. The two had a strong bond since childhood, and as they grew up, they engaged in a romantic relationship. Upon discovery of their actions, their parents disowned them, since it was a taboo for blood relatives to be intimate. However, this did not stop them, and they went ahead and got married in a wedding which no one attended. The twins later had a baby girl, and their relationship still appears strong, and their love for each other is still evident.
So why do you feel the need to sit down today and set the record straight?
Because a lot of people have gotten the wrong thing about us.
But what did you expect?
Expected it to be to create awareness,
What awareness?
Then after we could have created the show, maybe people could have understood later.
Okay, sorry if I'm being a bit harsh here, but what awareness were you guys trying to create?
that a show will come in place.
That's not awareness.
That's pretty much what we thought.
What awareness?
We just wanted to, like, we just wanted to start a show. That's all. Yeah.
Okay, so what was your show going to be based on?
Our show was about to be about these two people who look alike, but they're not related. Because we had taken time to study about the doppelgangers, and we thought maybe if we created something like a show, it will get a lot of attention.
So this was pretty much cloud chasing.
Yes, it was.
Cloud chasing. You are very straightforward today.
Yeah.
What are your parents saying about your recent actions?
It's obvious a bad thing.
Did they say so?
We obviously did a bad thing. So like, there's no way we can keep on like going back and forth with the same thing. It was all about it was about social creation, and it happened the way it happened, the way we didn't want it, and it's obviously wrong. So all we can say is that we're sorry.
Lexi?
Yeah. Yeah, sorry.
So that was the story. A couple pretended to be twins. They were in love. They gave birth to a baby, apparently, but the baby was not even theirs. So they lied to get clout on social media. So before we even get into the story, if we even get into it, the question is, have you ever lied to get ahead?
How? Me? Never. No,
Well,
kidding.
I'll be honest, but in regards to this story, this is a bit extreme, but I think we all have little small like here and there, right? But yeah, this was extreme. This was extreme because they went ahead to even get a kid. You know, like that's just.
But you have to sell the lie at some point.
True.
Yeah,
They committed to it.
I think they engineered certain aspects of their lives. We know that they were actually a couple, but the part of being twins, rather siblings or even twins, and having a child was the lie.
Wow.
Yeah, so they are together, they're in love, they're a couple. So I think to sell and to get their clout, they put in the other aspects. So that's what I was saying. Sometimes in life, you may have to engineer a few truths or a few things so that you can, get where you are. So, for example, who of you has ever lied on their CV?
I haven't. I've always been horrified.
CV?
But I know for a fact that there are people who will just orchestrate a CV that is totally different from who they are.
Yeah, you see a job, you're like, you know what? They need this and this and this. So you look at the job description, you get it. But it's okay. Some of your bosses may see this thing, so I know that it's fine for you not to speak the truth.
Thank you, Huntington, for exposing our good behaviors.
Okay, so the question now is, maybe Belinda, we can start with you. How far is too far in this whole social media? I'm sure you have seen whatever has been going on, even just outside of this story. People do all sorts of things. They, show off.
Yeah.
I can put it in quotes, and all in the name of getting clout. So how far is too far?
I think that it's necessary to have boundaries before you get onto things like this. I mean, it's a good question. How far is too far? Have you thought about what that's going to mean for you further down the road, for your children? Imagine your child in school. Many years from now, that guy's kid's now in school. Your father is the guy who lied up your mother. It's ridiculous. You don't think about the repercussions further down the road beyond yourself. But
the problem is for today. They want to move ahead today.
And that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
you need to establish now that beyond, you've crossed cultural lines, you've offended, like culture is mad at you, your parents are mad at you, the country is mad at you. It's for what?
You need to look beyond the now, beyond the how am I going to make money now?
Yeah.
What
but you see,
else?
the situation beyond now is a good idea, looking forward beyond the nose and all. But I'm suffering today. Why don't I create a situation for the current a solution for the current situation? And then when I am done, we can see later the other things, another time.
Personally, I would never go that far.
Okay, I think that was it from us today. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, that was it for our Tell It section, and that's been it for Daily News Africa this week. Be sure to catch us next week, same time, same place. And make sure to adhere to the SOPs, you guys. COVID-19 is still real, it's still there, so be careful.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, and bye-bye.
Bye.